Hi, ladies. Welcome back to our Sunday dose. So thank you so much for joining us today in our Sunday dose. And what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? So as a recap, last week I introduced that from today onwards, takuita real life situations or real life examples. What that means is maybe looking at stress life as women, things that take away our confidence, things that take away our self-worth. Those little things that bother us every day, those little things that stop us from enjoying life to the fullest, those things that obstruct us from enjoying, moment by moment, from just being happy. So from today onwards, but looking at practical situations and it. So that's what we are talking about today. And today we are going to be talking about self-image. Why I've picked that to be the first one is, self-image is something that tinotinetsa isusu madzimai, and I wouldn't want to to understand. I don't even have to go back and explain kuti ichi the self-image. Say someone anotosafa ne some insecurity. We are insecure, we are not happy about something, about our looks, about our confidence, about how we feel. There's something, self-image, how you look at yourself, how you perceive yourself. So say, as madzimai, we suffer from things like that. So that's what we are looking at today. And because in Nini, it's something that I suffered from, and it's something that I'm still struggling with. I did about something kuti I need to self-image no, I did not. It's something that I have to deal with every day, but I have sort of learned tricks and tools of shifting that. Kuti pese pandakufila kuti panapa I'm not feeling secure, maybe panapa I'm feeling kuti ndiri kuita self-conscious about my body image. These are the things that I turn to, kuti so that I bounce back to my normal self. So that's what we're talking. So I'll just be sharing my how I deal with body image issue. And did say my honors. So let's do that today. So no real life situation yedu yatrukutanga nasi real life situation one. So I've picked that because pani one of us akambo mention up a group kuti yes, we are talking about our beliefs, we are talking about how we feel about ourselves. So how do you combat, how do you deal with you looking at yourself in the mirror and changing how you feel about yourself? Kuti ndakazvitarisa inini kuti handisi kufarira zvakati about myself. How do I change that in real life application kuti ndinozvichinja sei? So that's what we are talking about today. About our body images and So ladies, the first thing that we need to understand about body images is chichiombe kazhinji kacho society has just told us that we are not perfect. The world that we live in right now, there's a lot of influence, there's a lot of information that we receive every day by social media. Even ourselves, in our conversations as women, we judge ourselves and we judge others based on our looks. So that we sort of have a self-image or ideal self, or your own self-concept yokuti inini ndofanira kunge ndakadai so. So if I don't look like this, then I'm not perfect. And we have sort of associated that with shame. We sort of relate that to shame. Good kana ndisina dumburi flat, it's shameful to have a bigger stomach. Kana ndisina mazamu are a certain size, it's shameful to have that size. Kana if my skin, if my looks, if my hair, my nails, my body shape, kana isina kuita kunge. So then we attach shame to it. So as a result, we criticize ourselves so much about how we look. And what I've noticed also, ladies, is we compare ourselves ne-best images dzevamwe, especially kana uchitarisa mapictures epainstagram kana papinterest kana patv. You're comparing yourself kune munhu akageza akachena atorawo best picture yake, then ini ndamira pamira pangu ndisina kupfeka ndobva ndaona dumbu rangu harina kuita flat, but ndakuri compare nerabeyonce riri flat, then I tell myself kuti saka dumbu rangu harizi right, and then I attach shame to it and I'm not happy about it. And pese pamunondoona I want to talk about it because I'm now self-conscious about dumbu rangu because harina kufanana neremunhu wandaona akageza. So we compare ourselves isusu tiri at our, you know, our behind the scenes. Ungori hako munhu normal wabva in your birthday suit uri pamira zvako uribva unogeza, and then you compare yourself to someone else wawaona mumagazine or kuchurch, but wamona akageza pamwe akatopfeka chinonzi chikakadumbu, handite dumbu rake riri in shape, zvinhu zvake zviri shape, and you are comparing yourself to that person, and then you feel shame, we feel insecure about how we look because you are comparing your behind the scenes with somebody's highest reel. Akageza akachena. So we feel insecure and we attach insecurity with it. And then because you're now self-conscious about that thing, whether it is skin yako, whether ari maziso, whether ari mazino, inini, I used to be so self-conscious about my teeth because my teeth are quite crooked. Funny enough, there's an advert, yeah, I mean on the toothbrush, I think on YouTube right now. You notice if your teeth are crooked, or if you have a tooth gap, then or you have perfect teeth. So I'm so conscious about that advert because mazino angu ari crooked. Saka in a way ndechitodza munhu wangu kuti vanhu vari kuti if you have a tooth gap or crooked teeth or perfect teeth. So that means munhu ane gap nemunhu ane crooked teeth hazi perfect, you know. So those are the sort of things zvatinoona muadvert. Ezvinezvi pane imwe yandatoona makuseni inenge yakanzi pimple drama, you know, it's advertising some, you know, skincare. So vanoti pimple drama. So you see how the media affects us, or you know, whatever zvatinoona ubva watofunga pamwe ndine pimple drama, and the next thing is you want to buy that kuti ndicombat that. The next thing I'm going to buy that toothbrush or whatever kuti mazino angu aite straight. So we have a lot of those things, you know, social media, magazine, ourselves judging each other kuti zvinhu zvinofanira kuita so, zvinhu zvinofanira kuita so, zvinhu zvinofanira kuita so. And those things don't make us happy because sometimes even ukaenda kuinterview kana kuchechi kana kufunction, tinototadza kana kutosumuka kuenda unotamba because uri kufunga kuti hembe yako yakuzoburisa dumbu riya kana magaro aya ane cellulite, you know, kana zvakuzonooneka kana kuti makumbo angu akaonda, you know, those things. My legs are so slim. Yeah, so I become conscious about that. I'm always talking about my boobs. I think that since it's the third time I become conscious about that. Imagine kasumuka vanhu vese vakaona mazamu angu mahombe, you know. Saka unotadza kufara, unofara zviri limited because you are conscious about it, because we don't say, and this was, I'm not celebrating my boobs, I'm not celebrating my thin legs, I'm not celebrating my tummy, I'm not celebrating my size, because I attach shame to it. Saka ndinobva ndatoona kunge zvinhu zvakashata that I should not be celebrating. So that's what we are talking about today, kuti how do we like ourselves? How do we come to a position yekuti you don't care about how you look? You accept yourself 100%. You don't attach shame to the way you look. How do you come to that conclusion? I like myself the way I am. I accept myself the way I am. So it doesn't even matter. I just accept myself. The way that we accept our names. The way that I accept Aluta. Anyone cannot come and tell me kuti Aluta, that's not your name. And that's my name as a fact, because I accept it as it is. So how do I accept the things that I don't like about myself? How do I do that? How do I accept and love myself the way I am? So I think that's the goal that we need to achieve or try to attain or try to live. Good, yes, I know I'm not happy about it, but how do I stop criticizing myself? How do I start looking at myself without shame? How do I start looking at myself with pride or just accepting kuti ndozvandiri and I'm happy this way, so that even if another person can come and say kuti dumbu rako riri kuoneka kana kuti makumbo ako akaita sei kana kuti mazino ako akaita sei, you just love it. Unongoti, you know what, it's a fact, this is how I am and hazvikuaffect. You understand? How do I come to that position yekuti the way I look at myself or the way I am doesn't affect me negatively? I do not look at myself from a negative point of view. How do I come to that position? Yeah. So tokona kutotarisa body image, sometimes tichingofunga kuti zvinongoperera pakungoti I don't like myself, ndofanira kupfeka zvinhu zvinoita camouflage how I look. But I came to learn kuti kuita self-conscious and not accepting yourself actually affects even the way that we live with other people. It actually affects, our relationships nevamwe vanhu. Kuti hazvingopereri pakuti handina kunaka zvakati, but our insecurity also inoita step into the way that we relate with other people. So this is why it's important to accept yourself and love yourself. Because if you are insecure and you don't accept yourself, because as human beings, we have that need to be accepted. So if you don't accept yourself, what happens is you then get that acceptance. You want to have that acceptance from other people. You want other people now to validate kuti you are beautiful or they love you the way you are. Also that you're not able to give yourself that love and that acceptance. So because as a human being we need that, you end up looking for that love and that acceptance from other people. Saka ukaita munhu anongokuudza kuti iwewo Alota, you're beautiful and I accept you the way you are, we cling to that person. Because isusu, we don't have that inside of us. So we cling to that person because we hold that person as our source of acceptance. Saka munhu tongoti, for example, I can make it ndongona ngoita kune spouse. If my spouse tells me that I'm beautiful, and if my spouse tells me they love me the way I am, and so I'll end up thinking kuti ndokune source yangu ye love, ndokune source yangu ye acceptance, and I cling to that person and I please that person because I need that person, because anondiudza kuti they accept me. So musi waanozondiudza kuti haasi kundi accepta the way I am, or when that person leaves my life, they take away from me that acceptance. Vanoenda nayo love, yeah, self-love yandisina, because my self-love was coming from them. So when that person leaves my life, anoenda nayo. That's why tichirwadziwa, that's why tichichema, because we feel like they've taken a big part of us. We feel like we've been betrayed because we haven't been able to live tine love isusu yedu teka, but we get that love from another person. So sometimes nogonangotarisa kungoita insecure nebody yedu kunongoperera ipapo, but it actually touches my relationship yedu and how we like other people in our lives, because we treat those people as sources of love, as sources of acceptance. Kana munhu akazorega kuaccept, we feel betrayed and we feel good our part something chaenda, and ndokutofila betrayed disappointed and rejection, and ndokurwadziwa kwatinoitwa kana paita separation, is because that person, we were holding that person as a source of love, source of acceptance, source of validation kuti I'm a beautiful person, because iwewo pachako you were not able to love yourself like that. So ndo effect yo insecurity. When you're insecure, you just feel like other people ndovanoku accept, you want validation from other people, right? So that's the effect of insecurity. Loss of confidence or lack of confidence, or lack of self-worth. You want other people to compensate that gap. So the whole point here, exercise you need to have that confidence wega. You need to have that self-love wega. You need to accept your self-love wega, so that you stop people pleasing, so that you stop regarding other people, seeing other people as your sources of confidence, as your sources of self-worth, as your sources of acceptance or kukudza kuti you're beautiful. You start telling yourself and you live it yourself, so that even if another person lives your life, unoramba uri whole, you don't feel like that person has taken something or you have lost a part of you, and because you don't regard that person as you don't need their validation to live. You validate yourself. So that's what we are stressing and emphasizing today. We need to be able to love ourselves fully, isusu pachedu, so that we don't look to other people for that love and acceptance. So you need to love yourself. Do the whole point. That's the goal. Our goal is to be comfortable with ourselves. That's what my notes. To accept ourselves 100%, to stop attaching shame to the parts of us that we don't like. We need to stop criticizing ourselves about how we look, our body image. We need to be secure about ourselves. Saka ndo zvatiri kudzidza nhasi kuti how do I do that, because these are the effects. Marelationships edu zvinotoaffecta marelationships edu, even kungofunga kuti vakutoenda kune vamwe vanhu bozi ndini ndakashata, even kuti ndakutosiyiwa panapa bozi so you need to be able to accept yourself, so that you don't relate their going away or their choosing other people. You don't associate it with yourself. And it good. So how I was taught inini kuti ndinodila sei nenyaya dze-self-image. I'm just going to be brief about this, because there's no way we can talk about self-image tikapedza panapa. And so ndinongotaura in brief the things that were emphasized to me kuti ndisvike pastage yekuti yes, I'm still struggling with learning and accepting myself fully, but these are the things that I remind myself every time yandinofeel kuti I'm not happy about something. And so number one, I was taught kuti you need to accept yourself 100%, because you are not an object of desire. And dumbu rako is not an object of desire. Your face is not an object of desire. Iwewe munhu uri munhu 100% ane zvakaita. You are an equipment, you are a human being. You hauzi an object of desire. Hauzi chinhu chekuti chinonzi uri ruva, people have to see you like a beautiful thing. Look at yourself as an equipment iri kufanira kurarama pasi panapa. And hanzi izvo munhu akaita accident, mukanzi paita emergency, paita accident, what's the first thing that you ask when a person akaita emergency? And kana paita accident, the first thing that I think you agree with me, the first thing that you ask is, ari kufema here? Is this person alive? Hanzi hapana munhu anovhunza kuti ane dumbu hombe here, ane mahips here, ane mazamu madiki here, kana akaita sei, akaitei, ane zuda here, kana kuti munotanga kuvhunza kuti munhu ari kufema here, and what makes you breathe. So that's the most important thing, kuti your body is not an object of desire, kana kuti object yekunzi unoitarisa uchiti inofanira kudiwa kana ndofanira kudiwa, but you use it, ndo inoita kuti that's the body that's carrying you to exist pasi panapa. So it's important. You have to love yourself, because your body ndo iri kukuchengeta. That's the body that's carrying you mu life munom. That's the body that's enhancing you, or ndo iri kuita kuti urarame. Because of your body, you are enjoying this world. You are living your purpose because of your body. So accept it, with my body, the tool, the equipment that I need to live my life. And right, those are that teacher issues. Number one, accept yourself, good. You are not an object of desire. Number two, body yako, appreciate each body part. Boza urarame ezidumbu chete o gumbo chete o zamu chete. You are one whole thing. So appreciate the use of masiso ako. Appreciate kuti mazino ako angwanisingani anoshanda here, the purpose that they are supposed to. And ndikunotaura ndiri kujeka because of my teeth, but ndakuda kuti anake futi. You see? And appreciate your arms, appreciate your tummy, appreciate kuti inoite, what's the function of my tummy? Digestion, it carries me, ndo body yangu, ndinofara iripo, ndinosuwa iripo, makumbo angu, what's their purpose? And appreciate kuti zvinhu zvachona zvinofunctiona as one, zviri kufunctiona zviri chii. And because kune mumwe munhu asitorina ziso racho, asitorina mazino acho, but ari kutorarama, because kurarama is the most important thing. So don't look at yourself uchibreaka maparts kuti this part has to be this, that part has to be this. Appreciate kuti It's a whole thing. You're a machine of perfect health. Saka and shanda because it's perfect like that. Everything is working. Uka understand that kuti ndimedze chaiko, what are the mechanics? Anoita kuti ndimedze kuti ndiende kubathroom chaiko. What are the mechanics? Anoita kuti ndifambe. You know, what are the mechanics? Anoita kuti ndifunge. So appreciate, look at your body like that, right? Number 3, yandakadzidza about our bodies, kuti our bodies change, and we change like seasons. Ukatanga une 5 years, ukaita adolescence, ukaroorwa, ukaita vana, ukaenda kubasa, ma-environments, tinodya, tinotsamwa, tinoita stress, tinofara, we celebrate, we eat this, sometimes we go on a diet, tinokwira ndege, tigoenda kuholiday, tigogara pazuva, we expose, tiri vanhu vari kufara. So why do we expect our bodies to remain the same when isusu we are changing? Right now we are learning how to change. So even our bodies, they go through seasons, they change. So why would I expect my body to be younger 16 years when I have gone through a lot of things? So our bodies, they go through a lot of things so that to be able to sustain us, so that we enjoy our life. So let's appreciate our bodies that way. Let's look at our bodies that way. If we are thinking good body, I'm going to 16 years, body I'm going to a PhD because it has gone through a lot. That's what I always say. My body in a PhD of experiences. It goes through a lot in a 16-year-old. You understand? So appreciate what your body carries you. Appreciate how your body carries you and all through your experiences. So look at your body like that. Don't look at your body as an object of desire, but look at it. What is the purpose of this body? And so I think those are the basis. If you look at yourself like that, unokwanisa kuita say kuzvidzora whenever you want, you feel kuti andisi kufara panapa nebody yangu, right? Another thing that you need to understand is the way you look at yourself is subjective. Subjective meaning ndiwe wega uri kuzviona, ndiwe wega uri kutarisa body yako. Saka everyone goes through that and munenge ega ari kuzvijaja. But then even though uriwe uri kuzvijaja, we globalize at that judgment. Tinobva taiti vanhu vese ndo zvavari kuona, so you become self-conscious, but it's subjective. And times dzinochinja. Do you remember kuti vamwe vanhu vaienda unoiswa, you know, ma-BA anonzi kumashure kune mazamo time dzachona kuma-1990s, you know, early 2000. Now vanhu vakureverse. Things do change and opinions do change. Zvinhu zvinobuda munewspaper, zvinhu zvinobuda mumagazine, things about body image zvinochinja. So you might be stuck on time, maybe 1980 or 1990, but hazvisisiri mufashion. So just look at your body. Uzive kuti ndiwe wega uri kujaja body yako. And we also judge other people. Remember zvatikambotaura judgment based on your standards. Iwewe kutoka kana iwewe uchiona kuti mazamu ako angu mahombe, ndinotanga kutarisa vamwe vanhu kuti vane mazamu madiki vari right, ndotanga kujaja vanhu kuti vane mazamu mahombe anaonaka. So it's your opinion iwewe, and we actually globalize tobva tati vanhu vese ndo zvavanofunga, anditi, right? Saka this is what I do every day pandinomira pamira kuti ndi accept myself. Anditi, number 1, I appreciate my body. Makuseni ndichimuka nemanheru, I appreciate because I have accepted kuti I've learned kuti this is a perfect machine, you know, a machine of perfect health. So I appreciate bit by bit, part by part. I look at it like that. And so I appreciate and I'm grateful for each part. Thank you for my eyes that see. Thank you for my mouth. Thank you for my lips that make me talk, my speech. Thank you for my thank you for my lungs. Thank you for everything. I appreciate my body bit by bit. And then another thing that I do is when I see kuti ndakuda kuzvitarisa zvinhu zvisiri I start singing. I interrupt kupese pandinoda kuzvikriticize, I start interrupting myself with something, or ndinotaura nevoice raMickey Mouse. kuti aleta tumazamu twako twakakura or chidumbu chako chiri kurembera wena. Saka ndinobva ndaseka. I make fun of that instead of saying it nevoice riri shameful rekuti ini ndoita sei zvangu nedumbu iri. You know, I make fun of myself zvokuti zvinopedzisira zvaita fani musoro mako. I stop myself, I interrupt myself, or I start singing. Pamira pacho, instead of looking at yourself, which is criticizer, I decided to sing, you know, just to be focus young away from it. Another thing that I do is I celebrate the things that I love about myself. And kana pane imwe body part yako yaunoda that you feel good, you are happy about, you celebrate it. And you celebrate it and focus on that. And right. Another thing I neutralize. Neutralize. Don't put any meaning. Tarisa dumbu rako, but don't put any meaning to it. Don't say kuti dumbu rangu rakakura saka zvinoreva kuti inini handichakwana hemeni, because chinhu zvinoita kuti utsamwe is the meaning that you put to kusafarira kwauri kuita dumbu rako. Chingoritarisa sedumbu zvobva zvapera. Don't put any meaning. Just neutralize it. Ritarise unge muti. Ritarise unge ruva, kunge maclouds, kuti unongoti maclouds ayo. Just look at it like that. Don't put any meaning to it, kuti zvinoreva kuti zvakati nezvakati nezvakati. Don't attach any shame, you know, to your body parts. Remember, your body parts are not an object for desire. And so inini, those are the tools that I used or that I even use to remind myself kuti to love myself unconditionally and to accept myself unconditionally. And kananda unozvidawa uri pese. I don't criticize myself. Zvide. That's what it means to love yourself and accept yourself 100% unconditionally. And so that's what we are learning today. Would it accept yourself, love yourself unconditionally, right? You're changing your belief. You're changing your belief here. You're going to body image yangu inofanira kunaka zvakadai so. Change it to say body image yangu is exactly what I am. So you are changing your belief. You are changing your thoughts. Kuti pese paunenge wakufila kuti uri kucriticize yourself. Change it to say, good, I'm not going to put any meanings to it. I'm neutralizing. I'm just looking at myself for what I am. I'm looking at my tummy for what it is. I look at my face for what it is. I'll look at my teeth for what they are. You understand? Yes. So also how you feel. Wakutobvisa my emotions akho esa unofila attaching shame to your emotions. Now you are feeling good. I'm accepting myself. And I'm accepting myself. So even the words that you say, start telling yourself, I like myself. I accept myself. I am grateful for this and I am perfect. Start teaching yourself like that. Right. So these things, so those you know, encourage you to start doing. And some of these things, ladies, unoita overnight. I'm still struggling, but I've been learning this for 3 years. It's just cultivating an attitude towards yourself. Start telling yourself the opposite. When you feel like you want to criticize yourself, change. So if you feel you are struggling in your body image, talk to me so that we can do the practices, we can do the exercises, actually in a routine, so that after a month or so, self-acceptance. So if you're struggling with something, self-acceptance, call me, talk to me so that we can put a practice, to my homework, we can put a schedule so that you end up you are cultivating a new habit, you're cultivating new emotions about your self-image, you're cultivating new thoughts about your self-image, and you're cultivating new beliefs about your self-image. Okay, thank you so much. I hope this was amazing for me. I hope it was amazing for you too. So thank you so much for listening to our Sunday dose. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.